Krishna. So tomorrow is a very auspicious occasion we are celebrating in India, the inauguration of the Ayodhya temple. So on this occasion, I would like to um, discuss about the glories of Goloka, where you have references to Ayodhya, and we also talk about the greatness of Ayodhya. Okay, but eventually we are glorifying Goloka. So this is like a reference I've taken from Sri Brhad Bhaagavataamrta by Srila Sanatana Goswami, translated into English by His Holiness Bhanaswami Maharaj. So my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas, to Bhanaswami Maharaj, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and all the Acharyas. So this is a very interesting topic. I hope all of you will relish this. Vaikuntha, the spiritual kingdom. This is chapter 4 in the second volume of Sri Brhad Bhagavatamrita, the glories of Goloka. So here the fourth chapter describes the nature of Vaikuntha and its inhabitants, the glories of the deity, the superiority of Ayodhya over Vaikuntha, and the superiority of Dwaraka to Ayodhya. So Gopakumara is the character, main character. So he shows the superiority of Braja to the whole world, and the place of liberation is shown. So he is very much attracted to Vrindavan Braja, and he says he has never seen a place like this within the universe or outside the universe, and even in the place of liberation. So he says he lived in the forest, and out of bewilderment, he forgot everything. The associates from Vaikuntha had said. So what he does is he travels to Mathura, and from in that place he heard the Bhagavatam and other scriptures from the local Brahmanas. So, and rightly understanding the meaning of the bhakti in its 9 forms, he came to the forest. He comes to Vrindavan, Vraja, and he meets his divine guru there. The guru, he gives him great mercy, and he reveals all the highest secrets to him. And he also reveals the nature of bhakti up to realization. Receiving his mercy, which revealed to him the most confidential secrets, and after following the instructions given by the Guru and practicing bhakti yoga without interruption, he attains Vaikuntha. Very quickly, he attained Prema. And he calls in that bliss, it says, O Sri Krishna, Gopala, Hari, Mukunda, Govinda, O Nanda Kishora, Krishna, O darling son of Sri Yashoda, please show me your favor. O life of the divine coward girls, O Lord of Radhika. Thus he called out to Krishna and sang his glories in various ways. At one moment, he danced exuberantly, at another, sobbed out loud. Like a madman, he wandered here and there, according to his whims, forgetting his own body and everything else. Since he lost his external consciousness, he called out loudly with songs and frequently called out, Where are you? Where are you? O great arm Krishna, And once he thought he saw the Lord of his life standing before him, and he ran to take hold of him. Overwhelmed by love, he fainted and fell to the ground. The cause of everything was he was out of control because of prema. At that moment, the associates of the Lord arrived in an aeroplane to take him to Vaikunta. They at once put him on that plane and carried him. And when he opened his eyes, he saw that everything was different. Shocked, he returned to full consciousness and saw them besides him, the same benefactors he had met before. So this plane goes through various places, wonderful places which are incomparable, indescribable beauty, and they excelled in brilliance, the most powerful luminaries. And he reverently offered obeisances. Those as- he reverently offered obeisances to those associates of the Lord. And those associates, they embraced him and reassured him, putting forward hundreds of arguments. They wished to give him a bodily form like theirs. They consoled him, but he refused their offer, and instead, by their influence, his own body, born in Govardhana, assumed qualities and beauty like theirs. In their company, he traveled along the path to Vaikunta, a path inconceivable, supremely blissful, and distinct from everything in this world. His eyes fell upon all the worlds, cosmic regions, and coverings of the universe he had visited before, and he felt ashamed. The residents and presiding rulers of those places were honoring him, faces upraised, palms joined above their heads. They vigorously cast flowers, parched rice, and other auspicious offerings upwards towards him. Praised by cries of victory and offered obeisances at every step, he moved on, and before his eyes he saw the abode of liberation, and how trifling it was. And traveling upward from there, he came to Shivaloka. There he bowed to Shiva and Uma with great pleasure, and he made him feel blissful with a flood of gracious words filled with love and respect. And then he went on to that place whose garland of glories cannot be touched by the words or by the mind. He reached Vaikunta. The associates of the Lord told him to please wait there for a moment outside so that they could get permission from the Lord to bring him in. So he just told to himself to remain calm, and he was observing like um, he was imagining how it will be to meet the Lord and how it will be, his eyes will be so blissful on meeting the Lord. And yeah, so the associates they went in and he stood outside in the pavilion of the entrance gate. He then beheld someone coming and entering this great city. He rode on an excellent vehicle. He saw this new person entering Vaikunta. He rode on an excellent vehicle endowed with the opulence of hundreds of universes. Music and other entertainment filled him with delight. He resembled the Supreme Lord in luster and beauty. So, seeing this, Gopakumara assumed that should be the Lord of Vaikunta. Immediately, he pays his obeisances and he glorifies the associate as the Lord of Vaikunta. So, the associate He feels terribly embarrassed and he closes his ears and he says, "Please don't do this. I am just the servant of the Lord." Okay. He said, he looked at him and thought, "Surely this must be the Lord of universe. He must have gone somewhere as I passed him and now he's entering his own abode." So similarly, he saw many others come by, some alone, some in pairs, and yet others together in larger groups. And all of them, each more splendid than the last, entered the city of the Lord. Seeing them as they passed by, he was immersed as before in an ocean of awe. Again and again he bowed down and offered prayers, and each time again they stopped him with nectarian affectionate words, saying that they are only the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Some of them carried various items for performing their service, and others simply hurried forward, intoxicated by the taste of the nectar of bhakti. All had their minds and senses busily absorbed, each in his own service, and all were decorated with a myriad of pleasures from ecstatic service to the Lord. Offering obeisances, reciting prayers, and doing all sorts of wonderful things, those devotees, their every limb lending grace to their ornaments, looked fit to appear before their worshipable Lord. They extol the wonder of the great pastimes of the Lord, the husband of Lakshmi, as if his pastimes were those of some all victorious king, and they were eager to see the Lord's lotus feet. Some were with their families, some with an array of things, and others had left their families and things outside. Some had absorbed all that they had into themselves, and like beggars without possessions, they came alone, immersed in the moods of devotional meditation. Some assumed different forms at different times, with all kinds of ornaments, bodily features, and ways of acting, all exceedingly attractive. Some appeared as humans, some as monkeys, devatas, demons, or sages, and some bore the signs of persons initiated into the behavior of the Varnashma system. They took forms of humans, monkeys, etc. Actually, it was impossible that a resident of Vaikunta could be a human. Some say acted as brahmanas, etc., and others acted as brahmacharis, etc., through imitation by Vedic Gayatri or Vaishnava mantras, adopting the signs such as sacred thread and water pot, kusha grass, a horn, tulsi beads, and brands. Some look like Indra, Chandra, or Devatas. Some had 3 eyes or 4 heads, or 4 arms, or 8, or 1,000 faces. It was proper that they would have forms similar to Vishnu, but why would they have forms like humans and monkeys? The cause for such variety of forms will be described later at the end of Narada's explanation. So much for the reasons, but still, since forms like monkeys are not beautiful, they do not seem suitable. In this world, why would those who have a particular taste not find that particular taste? The residents of Vaikunta transcend everything material. For persons within the material creation, the manifested glories of those residents and of the Vaikunta world and its master are beyond analogy and beyond the power of words to describe. Because of such great varieties, the residents of because of such great varieties, there will be degrees of lesser and more. There will be various inequalities as in the residents of Swarga. The residents of Vaikunta transcend everything material. For persons within the material creation, the manifold glories of those residents and of the Vaikunta world and its master are beyond analogy and beyond the power of words to describe. Because of such great varieties, there'll be degrees of lesser and more. There'll be various inequalities, as in the residents of Swarga. That is not appropriate for Vaikunta. They should all be of one nature, since they all have Sachidananda forms. In order to refute this idea, in 4 verses, he first prays to the Lord for fear of offense in applying material examples in defining the real nature of the inhabitants. The inhabitants are completely beyond the material world. This phrase describes all the other items in the list as well. They are indescribable. This also applies to all the items. The many intrinsic glories, Mahat, Mahatmya, Jatani, of the indescribable inhabitants, this material world, since they cannot give a complete understanding. Nayakasya means the Lord of Vaikuntha. Text 42 to 43. Nonetheless, my dear Brahmana, you are a resident of the material world and a most intelligent. Shrinesh. The inhabitants are completely beyond the material world. This phrase describes all the other items in the list as well. They are indescribable. This also applies to all the items. The many intrinsic glories of the indescribable inhabitants beyond this world cannot be defined by animals from this material world, since they cannot give a complete understanding. Nayakasya means of the world. They say, nonetheless, my dear Brahmana, you are the vision. the associates of Vaikuntha. They say, nonetheless, my dear Brahmana, you are a resident of the material world, and your intelligence is confined to material, and your intelligence is confined because you can see only matter. Therefore, he says, it's like this, so that by material examples you might understand various things more easily. So the associates tell Gopakumar, nonetheless, my dear Brahmana, you are a resident of the material world and your intelligence is confined because you can see only matter. I therefore I say it's like this, so that by material examples you might understand victim things only after. Nonetheless, is dear Brahmana, this dear Brahmana, resident of the material world, and whose intelligence is confined because you can see only matter. Therefore, I say it is like this, so that by internal examples, Hare Krishna, I would like to end here. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you.